We had most people think Thursday's there, Friday, the week's over, where really it's just, you used to got over half the week left. We've got 4 days between today and Sunday. So if you're not where your numbers are, what are you doing to catch up? What's your process? Are you doing things that you have in your control that you can catch up with? And those are things like, let's say I'm sitting here at Thursday and I need 25 calls for the week and I don't have any. So what are you going to do? Well, heck, at six calls today, and for the next 3 days, I'll be at 24, so I can catch up. That's not, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? So, evaluate what you have and then just take the steps that you need to do to make the correction. So, like I said, what are you going to do? How many calls are you going to make to pay, make up for what you missed? How many texts are you going to send out that you need to catch up to? How many agreements do you need to send out to, get to your 5 for the week? So evaluate that and then focus on those things that you need to get done by the end of the week and get caught up. So you just have to adjust. It's not over. Don't throw your hands up and quit. Let's figure out where we're at. What do we have to do to get caught up and maybe even surpass what we're doing? So stay focused. What's your system? What are you going to do? Evaluate that today and put that planning together for the next 4 days, and you'll be able to catch up and exceed.
So let's talk about systems. I think that's a good topic to attach on to catching up, like because I think I have a system, but it doesn't seem like I'm always consistent with my system, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we, you know, how do we catch up, make sure we're still working our system or I don't know, is that a question
Yeah,
or is
yeah, it
that
makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you got to have an idea where you're going to be, for your everyday activities. You're gonna get your 5 calls in today? Where are you going to get those calls from? Have you already done your scrapes, or you got to do scrapes today? Or what's your avenue of getting your leads? So you've got to have those in hand so you can produce the results you're looking for by making those calls. And that's really what we're focused on every day, is making the calls, getting some conversations started, find some solutions for somebody, hopefully send out that agreement. And if we can't send it out today, we've got to follow up, within the next, 3 to 5 days, that we've got something working. So that's got to be your process. Where you at? How many people are you trying to talk to each day to get to your 5 quality calls? I mean, if you've got 5 or less on the fund meter, those aren't really great calls. I mean, you got it in, but you need something to produce results. And so you've got to keep driving. If you've made your 5 calls and they were all 5 and under, you got to figure out how you're going to make 5 more calls to get 5, and 5 that are 5 to 10 and are worthy of your time.
right, right.
So you've got to set your parameters, what you're trying to get done each day. Am I going to talk to 5 people that are 5 and above? Or am I just talking to 5? I mean, whatever that goal is for you, you've got to make sure you're accomplishing it. And hopefully it's 5 quality, 5 plus on the meter, and you've got one contract in there as well.
Yeah. Well, I know like the last week when we were talking about the 45 minutes um of focus time, which is awesome. That totally helped me out. Um and then I texted you and said I had gotten talked to 6 people and had three, or I can't remember what the numbers were, but it was three. I was sending out 3 offers basically, um, or proposal letters. So that was like to just take that time, aside aside and really just say, okay, no more distractions. I'm just going to do this now. Um, Helped out a lot. So need to work on that with consistency, obviously.
Yep.
So, it's funny because I can't remember what it was, but I was listening to something about, oh, I know what it was. It was in this great book that I love, and she was talking about how you know, having your own business is, you know, it's the great thing about it is you get to, you know, do your own thing. You know, you get to set your own time limits. You know, you get to bring the dog to work. You get to, you know, have this and that. And then she says, well, the bad thing about having your own business is you get to set your own time limits. You know, you get to do, it's like all the same things that are good about having your own business can be bad about having your own business unless you're disciplined and, you know, structured. So, um, you know, it'd be nice to come up with some ideas on how we can be accountable in our structures too, maybe, you know, some ideas and like, okay, well, these are the times, you know, that I'm working and I'm not letting anybody else text me or call me or not, you know, for example, um, you know, this week, instead of calling sellers, I've been dealing with buyers a lot, you know.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep, me too.
so it's taken away my focus on calling sellers, you know, like
Yep.
probably called and talked to 35 buyers this week, you know, which is to talk to sellers. So it's like, and you know, that's one of the tough parts I think too with buyers. Maybe you found this yourself and Alan too. You know, you can set the time up to call your sellers, like, okay, I'm calling for 2 hours at this particular time or whatever it is. But with the buyers, like it comes like at all hours of the day and night, you know? So how do you structure that to where, you know, and you miss out on, you know, a buyer calls you, you know, and you don't answer the phone, you know, you never know what that buyer, whether they're, I mean, I had one on a deal that I'm working on right now. It looks like it's going to be, I mean, I don't want to say anything until it's actually done, but she got approved and everything. But, you know, she texted me and said, yeah, I've got like half the amount of money that we were looking for, you know. So I called her or I said, hey, call me. She called. I answered the phone. I said, well, I'm looking for this amount, you know, really. And she's all, well, I can do that, you know. And so, you know, so it was twice as much money as she said she had, right? But just by asking her the question of, well, this, or just by telling her, hey, this is more what we're looking for. But if I would have just done that in a text or a Facebook chat thing back and forth, probably when she called, you know?
Yep. Hmm.
So had a really great conversation, you know, and it's just like Alan and our Irish deal that we did, you know, a couple of weeks back. He answered the phone when the people called, you know.
Yep.
So, and we were in the middle of a call lab. So, you know, I mean, it worked out fine, but that's always been a struggle for me is like, how do you set that up for, you know, obviously the greatest way would be to have a VA or somebody else that can do it for you. But, you know,
Yes. Yep.
those are
Yeah,
the,
it really comes
not
down
everybody
to
can do that.
know what you have. Yeah, it comes down to knowing what you have to get done in the day, and and it's no fun, but you might have to stay a little extra, baby. You might have to do a little you know, overtime to get the chores done, and that's getting the minimums done each day. And so you've got to take that opportunity. And you know, when you're trying to sell and you know buyers are calling in, you got to take those calls, or have a strategy to reach back to them. Say you couldn't take that call, you just shoot them a text. You know, I'm in a meeting. I'll call you in 1 hour, and do
Yeah, the
something like
REI
that.
reply
Just
actually has something like that. If somebody calls, you can set it up to have a text sent back to them,
yep.
and then you can say whatever you want. You know, hey,
Yeah,
I'm in.
I've got a thing on my phone that's automatic. I can just it offers me a few choices. You know, I'm in a meeting, I'll call you back or whatever, just to respond, and then you just got to get back to them as quick as you can.
Yeah,
That's the downside of the one man show. You're the the cook, the head bottle washer and dishwasher, about you know sweeper. You got to do it all, but got to be focused on the key elements that you will propel yourself through each day. And if you're letting those things slip behind you one day, so say, you needed five calls for 5 and above, and you only got 2 in a day. Well, tomorrow you're going to have to pick that up. You just got to focus on, picking up that slack and maybe getting ahead. And I can't stress it enough where if you're getting a good jump start on this in the week, get ahead, for yourself. That way you're not playing catch up, because it's just unfortunately a common trait that, people just kind of let it go until the end. And they start feeling the pressure. Then the hair's on fire and they're trying to run and get everything done. And it's tough to do. I mean, the stress will kill you. So just try and maintain your minimums each day. And if you can do 1 more, 2 more each day, that just puts you in a great position. Take advantage of it early instead of trying to get it all done at the end. Like right now, I guarantee you there's so many people out there in multiple industries that are facing the November, December. Holy shit, I'm not even close to getting to my quota, my numbers for the year. What am I going to do? You only got 60 days left, man. It's tough to come back to where you need to be to get to what, you should have been thinking about this 6 months ago when you realized you were maybe falling behind. But, we kind of, creatures of habit. And then, we think we can make it all happen at the end. It just puts a lot of stress. And then you got the holidays coming up and people are taking time off and they don't want to talk about business and possibly, but don't let that enter your mind. You've got to stay focused. You got to keep moving ahead. Don't let people tell you just because it's the holidays. December was always my best month. And they always say, oh, no one's going to buy stuff, especially in the cemetery and funeral business. Who wants to talk about that, But
Well, I think real estate too.
Months in December.
Yeah, like real estate too. Like, that's a time when you find the motivated sellers because, people aren't calling, necessarily because they think, hey, that's not a good time to call. But, so then you get those, it's actually a great time to call because you get
Absolutely.
people that are the people that are motivated come out of the woodwork during that time,
People
So,
buy an emotion, and what's a better time of year to be working on emotion than the holidays with families and friends, and how we can help each other and get things done. And then you got the deadline. You got the deadline of, hey, the year's ending, prices are going up, or things are going to change in the new year. Let's get this taken care of. You got the taxes to deal with. You want to get it solved now, we can get a 1031, or you're going to have to roll that into the next year. Then you're going to have to deal with all that. We can help you. We can get it done today. So stay focused on your minimums and try and exceed them.
yeah, good. I used to say, well, I just wanted to just talk about the return call, or I use this as an excuse a lot. So, if somebody called, I would text them back and go, "Hey, sorry, I'm in a board meeting right now," because most times I was out surfing. So that was so that was my board meeting, was that I was surfing. I still use it every once in a while.
Hey,
Uh,
if your articles of incorporation states that your board meeting's in the ocean, who's to
yeah,
blame you?
yeah, no doubt. Uh, all right, I want to just share this real quick on the for communications. Oops. And I had done this a while back, and Alan and I were talking about this yesterday, um, because he had a call that um, basically we figured out that the person was, what was he? He was analytical, right?
Oh yeah, he wasn't. Oh, he wasn't amiable at all.
Yeah. So there's
Engineer kind of
analytical.
guy.
Yeah, he was an analytical type. Um, you could just tell he was all about the numbers, wanted to just, he wasn't really, oh, this is a good one. He wasn't really a great communicator necessarily. Um, and then we kind of figured we didn't really think he was that motivated, but it was still, he still did have some motivation because he was talking about renting it. And then, if you couldn't sell it, he would rent it, and so on and so forth. And so this, we kind of came up with that. We had just briefly talked about it yesterday while we were on the call lab, and it was like, oh yeah, we kind of forgot about that, like how it is to um, go back and mirror. So that turns into that whole Chris Voss thing about mirroring the personality type. So like I was saying to Alan that if you would have went straight to the guy and just went straight to the numbers, hey, this is what I can do, this, and this, and then he probably would have said no too, but at least he would have been. It would have been probably something that he would have related to a little bit more. So, but these are the four. So it's analytical, driver, amiable, and expressive. So, the analytical is somebody who is engineer type, like you talked about, all about the numbers. Hey, let's just get straight down to the numbers. The driver is somebody who is like, I just need the information. I don't want to dilly dally around, blah blah blah, straight at you, kind of person. So the toughest one, or the toughest person to deal with, is the analytical driver, the people who have both of those personality traits in the same personality style, because they want the numbers and they want them now, right? So and then amiable is somebody who basically wants to make peace with everyone. I am very much an amiable. And then the expressive is somebody. The perfect example of an expressive is somebody, if you talk to them about the house, you ask them about the house, right? Like, and then they just start going off about every little thing about the house, and you cannot get a word in edgewise, right? We've all had to deal with that a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And it's sometimes it's pretty tough to to get off of that. So it's just a really cool way though to kind of think about how you're talking to certain people, when you're on your calls, because if you can mirror that, like a driver, for example. Okay, so even there's a really good example. You're all gonna laugh, but the guy that called me a shitbird, right? That dude was a driver, right? But I came right back at him when he jumped on my shit, right? Even though he was just like, that was it. But being able to recognize those things, like that's a good practice in your calls today or whenever you're going to make calls. It's like, hey, spend a little bit of time and just think about how the conversation went, and you could even, it wouldn't be a bad idea to put that in your notes in the uploading your calls to the accountability thing too, just so that you can sort of practice on, hey, that person was a driver, an analytical, or an expressive, or a amiable. And the amiables sometimes are hard to figure out. The expressives are easy, the analyticals are pretty easy, and the drivers are pretty easy too. So probably the easiest person to deal with are amiables, but you can easily, mirror somebody when you figure out what their type is.
Mm-hmm.
That all make sense at all? Any questions on it? Have you ever seen this before, Ed, or used it?
I have. I've experienced that a few times, and it's great. I mean, you really learn a lot as far as just hearing the type of person you're talking to, and you can move them along in that direction. It's tough to take a driver and talk to them in the amiable way. You got to run the same route with them. So it really does help. It's a great concept. That's very advanced as far as being able to help yourself psychologically with the people that you're talking to, and how to communicate with them. So,
right.
Great stuff. That's a
here's a quick little rundown about each one. So driver, objective, focus, know what they want, how to get it, communicate quickly. That's for sure. Gets to the point. Sometimes tactless or brusque. So, they'll just say, whatever it is on their mind without even thinking about it. Can be an end that justifies the means, and doesn't shy away from conflict. Hardworking, high energy, expressive, natural salesperson, storyteller, warm, enthusiastic, good motivator, communicator, can be competitive, can tend to exaggerate or leave out facts and details. Sometimes would rather talk about things than do them, right? So there's the person that wants to talk all about their house, but doesn't want to get down to the numbers, right? So, amiable, kind-hearted, can blend into any situation, can appear wishy-washy, has difficult with firm decisions, loves art, music, blah, 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 highly sensitive, can be quiet and soft-spoken. So, and then analytical, of course, is the highly detailed-oriented people, can have a difficult time making decisions without all the facts. That's for sure, right? An analytical wants to know everything, can be highly critical, can be pessimistic in nature, but they're very perceptive. So, those are really, you can pick up on that too, just by asking a lot of questions, right? Like right off the bat, a lot of times, how we talk about, you were talking about last week too, about the, you have that first 6 to 8, 10 seconds, right? When you're talking to somebody,
Yep.
You can take that to where they are in the first 6 to 8 to 10 seconds, probably too, based off probably the first 4, 5, 6 words that come out of their mouth. You probably have a pretty good idea where they are in this chart. It would be so it's really, really good practice. You're right. It is kind of an advanced thing, but it is something that will help everybody with how to, structure your conversations to get, because, what is it like? Everybody, I know Claude talks a lot about this, and it's, people like to do business with who they like and trust, right? So if you can persuade yourself into what their personality type is, they're going to like and trust you a lot quicker than, like an expressive person trying to be expressive with an analytical person is going to like really, or a driver either really, they're going to kind of get pushed away by it, So, and it's always good to kind of figure out what you are too, what types are you? And there's multiple, some people have multiple types in their personality, but to try to figure out what type you are, is kind of fun too. And just start figuring out like, hey, what type is my girlfriend or my wife or even my kids, like what type are they? It's like, your friends, like when you start to utilize all that stuff, like Connor, and it's funny because, using guts and, all that other stuff too, like you can use all that stuff in your life too. Like Connor was talking to me about how he's having this, conversation with his girlfriend, and he's like, yeah, and I used guts on her the whole time, she didn't even know it, but now she's starting to figure it out though, because she's super smart, she's expressive, but like they're you can use
my wife's accused me of trying to manipulate her a few times over the years too.
Not too hard.
Give me that salesman shit.
Yeah. Well, it's I was just watching this really quick video on Chris Voss, and he says, you're in negotiations 5, 6 times a day. You don't even know it, whatever it is that you're doing throughout the day. It's just, the negotiation is, all part of life, really,
Yeah, and the key point is don't be afraid of it. Just have an adult conversation. You can't think for the other person. And so once you start, figuring that out, your life is going to be a lot more at ease. But when you start trying to think for what the other person is thinking, that's when that's when you run into some issues and you start creating your own issues. The guts method, I've been working on this guy. I'm trying to find my text to him. He just kind of, he shows up and he's very positive, and then he says he's going to do something. Then it's weeks after that, and let's see here. So last night I sent him, "Hi Scott, Ed, following up on the agreement I sent you for the home on Kellybird. Thought you were a man of your word and would respond after your attorney looked at the agreement a few weeks ago. Everything was straightforward in the terms we discussed and agreed on. Would you like to continue making excuses or move forward?
Ooh,
It's okay to say no, Scott. You won't hurt my feelings."
that's pretty hardcore right there, dude.
I sent that over to Justin after that. I said, "Is this a good guts move, or am I just being a dick?" And he said he liked it. And then about 2 hours later, I got a response from him. "I'm interested. I'm out of town till next week, and Wednesday. Let's talk then."
Well, yeah, and sometimes we get to that point where we're thinking, "Hey, these people are blowing us off," which happens, of course, all the time. But the sometimes people are out of town or whatever too,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a $700,000 house, and the guy's probably a wheeler dealer. He was going to, the football game, the college game, and so he's got it working. I just call him out if you have to. Let's see what's going on.
yeah, I had one yesterday where I had talked to the lady, sent her the contract. We went over the contract. I was supposed to get on Zoom with her and then do the DocuSign thing. And then she just ghosted me, right, for like 3 or 4 days. So it'd been a week or two since I talked to her. I called her up. She's super busy, right? She's got like 5 different projects going on. This is actually her son's house. He's helping him and, blah, blah, blah. But everything was good. She liked the agreement when we talked about it and went over it, And after we went over it, I said, "Well, listen, can I send it to you right now?" And, you know, and then, when can we get it signed? And she's, "Oh, well, maybe Friday, maybe Saturday," like just giving me this whole thing. So anyway, when I called her back, I'm all, "Hey, this is Mark, we went over this blah, 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 talking." And unfortunately, yesterday when we were talking, I did not have my audio on, so nobody could hear. But she's, "Oh, I'm trying to go through the agreement," and I sent her the agreement again. We went through it, and I'm all, "Okay. Well, when can we, get this signed?" And she goes, "Well, I got this and this and this." And she's all, "Well, do you work Sundays?" I'm all, "Yeah, I work Sundays, but I'll call you at 11 o'clock your time. You're gonna answer the phone though, right?" So she's all, "Yes, I'm answering the phone. I put you in my calendar. I'm talking to you at 11 o'clock on Sunday. So we'll see if we get it signed then."
What you do?
Yeah. Hold on one sec.
I've got someone I was working on a house. They were at 69,000. We got it to 51,000, and then she was going to get back to me, and then she said that I told her I would be contingent on my inspection. She's like, "Well, then go look at it and then make me an offer."
Uh-huh.
So I kind of it's kind of situation that Vaughn was dealing with too. Kind of fell in that same little gap. So
Right.
I call her back today. This is my thought, and I'm just saying, my thought was, well, go down and look at it and then make an offer, meaning that there's probably stuff that needs to be fixed, and she's going to be prepared to deal with that. I was thinking of just giving her a call and say, what do you think we can do? Let's just find a final price, and then let's get the agreement. But I'm not going down until I get an agreement to look at it. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely not. That's a Claude rule. Can you guys hear me? My internet's all messed up. So a Claude rule is that he never goes to a property unless he's going to get a contract or a check.
Yep.
So I think that's a great rule because why go waste your time, your gas, your, you know, any of those things unless you know you actually have a deal, you know? I mean, I could see maybe going to, I mean, shit, in the last year, dude, like I have not been to a house that we've done, you
Yeah.
know, not
Right.
one, you know? I really don't even do it anymore, you know? And I mean, I look at the pictures and stuff, but, you know, if like this one I'm working on right now, like I have no freaking clue about any, because Connor was the one that actually got it under contract and I'm dealing with the buyers. Like, I don't know anything about this place, you know? So, I'm learning about it by what the buyers say when they go and check it out, you know. So, but but yeah, I mean, it's shit. That's the kind of thing, and Claude talks a lot about that. I remember, at least he used to all the time, talk a lot about, you know, yeah, I'd go down. I happened to him a lot too. He would go and drive 2 hours to go meet somebody, you know, take them out to lunch and talk to them all about the deal, you know, everything, and then get to the deal, and then they're, you know, we don't want to do that, you know. And then, so what ends up happening when that happens, right? You got your tail between your legs, you're driving home, you know, all upset. And then, you know, it's like it can kill your motivation, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
So, um, yeah, and you just shit, you just be straight up with them. Uh, I would say just be straight up with them. Yeah, you know, we don't, you know, necessarily go to houses until we know, you know, we don't want to waste your time. You can put it in the thing. I don't want to waste your time or my time until we know that we actually have, you know, the possibility of getting an agreement done.
Yeah.
So, um, that's helped me a lot. Like shit, I never go anywhere except for my surf shack and Connor's house. That's basically it. So, like, I talked to some guy yesterday, or no, it was the girl yesterday, lady. I think it was the one who told me she loved me, but she actually didn't love me. She was saying love somebody else. It's pretty funny. So we have some funny ass shit that goes on in this call labs, don't we, Alan? Some pretty good shit. Um, so what ended up happening is we were on the phone, and she's okay, I gotta get off, honey. I love you. And so then I hung up because I thought she was just like getting off the phone, you know. And then she called me back, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened." I'm all, "Oh, well, I thought you were telling me that you love me, and you were getting off the phone, you know." And so she was laughing so hard, and so anyway, they had another property, the one that they had just rented, but they had another property, and so she's going to send me over all the details. But right as I got off the phone, I'm like, "Hey, well, wait a second, I just want to let you know I love you too," you know. And so we were just talking about how she will always remember me, you know. She'll never forget that. So anyway, so yeah, uh, what else you got? So Vaughn, what you got going on? Tell me some stuff. I'm interested in
Okay. Well,
seeing what you're
if
going through.
yeah, if Ed, to touch on what you had just brought up, for what Victor said the other day and what Claude said, I went back to the guy and said that, right, and ended up getting the okay to send the agreement, say he'll sign it, and then
Sweet.
so that went good. Yeah, and he didn't like the contract, so I gotta change a couple things about it. But at least we were on the same page, and I was vocal about, hey man, like you guys said, don't want to waste your time. And I don't, you know, got projects going on and everything, and it's a waste of my time to just send somebody out there if I'm not, you know, don't know if we got a deal or not, you know. So so
Good.
thank you guys for that info. But yeah, other than that, nothing too spectacular. I'm sending a couple agreements out, but they're like B plus leads, you know. I think the price is there, but I may have to come back and renegotiate, and they're just cash deals. but I really want like a good solid lease option deal again, to see what I can do there. But that's what's going on in my world, just trying to stay consistent. And I love the accountability section now, dude. That's great, and it's fun. It's just something fun about it,
Hey, has anybody been having troubles? I was trying to upload the voicemails, and I know Alan was having a little trouble with that too. Have you guys had troubles with that on the Vukaroo thing, or?
No, I
Yeah.
just blew mine away. I didn't make the recording, but overall, just hit the it opens up, and you just copy it right on the side and drag it over. It just puts it right
Okay.
up there for you.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to get some in there today.
It started working again late yesterday. I think Justin fixed it.
I've been slacking on. Been
Ah,
making
okay,
calls,
so-
but I've been slacking on my inputting it into the accountability thing. So I need to get my shit together and get. Can't let you guys beat me, man. I don't want to fucking lose.
Bro, you got the golden cowbell. How are you losing?
That's not from doing
cowbell.
deals. That's just because I'm like, helping you guys. So I want to ring that motherfucker again here pretty quick. So hopefully today. We'll see. So what else we got? Anything else? Any other questions, comments? Should I make a couple calls?
I think you should.
All right. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Oh, let me share my screen. I don't know if
That was a
I
great
heard I am.
tip on the MLS for me yesterday.
Oh yeah, it works great, dude. You know what I did before on that many times too is like I would get deals under contract as an option and then put it on that flat fee MLS, Usually pay an agent 3%, So
Yeah, this guy works at where the agents have to get a minimum of 2%, and then he has a deal where he will either come and do the closing for 350, or for 1%, he'll handle everything for you, all the calls, all the negotiating, everything.
oh, that's cool. So is it a cash deal then? That must be right. What's
It's
the?
no, it's a I'm selling. I got a house to sell. My cousin gave me their house to work on.
Oh right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So trying to get it all going. Not only that, but he puts it on the MLS, and he also loads it up on Zillow and all the other sites.
Yeah, it's a good, definitely a good thing to another great tool. Had something else I wanted to say about that, but I forgot what it was. Yeah, I've definitely one thing about I would definitely some of the agents out there though, just to be cautionary about it, that when you do 2%, some of them won't look at it, because it's not, because they're sharing 1% with their broker, so
Right.
usually they're splitting it. So the more you can give the agent on the buyer side, the better. I mean, even if it's 2.5, it makes a difference. They don't, a lot of them, because a lot of them think too that the flat fee MLS thing, that they're going to have to do all the work. That's what I found, at least. It goes on the MLS, which is great, and it goes on Zillow, which is great too, because most people actually find their own places these days. The realtors aren't necessarily finding them. It's not like the old days where you used to get 20 pages of listings from the MLS and go through them and get them on paper or whatever. So but it definitely will give better exposure, no doubt.
That's what I'm looking for. Trying to get the exposure. Trying to do a couple open houses this weekend and get that baby sold.
Yeah.
You could do what was it Brandon Simmons, where he gets them all in under one roof.
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was somewhere it's in the archives here that Justin shared or something, but yeah, that's what came to mind. If you want to get it done in one weekend and wrap it up like that.
Yeah, I like that thought. I always try, I've been, I just rented out an apartment for my cousin's got a place here. That was kind of a challenge, but he had a realtor doing it for him. It took like over a month, man. I've been getting them done in like, this one took a little longer, but under a week. And if not, 3 to 4 days. And it's a 3 apartment house, and the one on top is a little funky. I mean, like the bedroom is not even 6 feet high, so you got to kind of bow your head a little bit when you're going in there. But all expenses paid, $700. And I had quite a few people interested. It was awesome.
Cool.
Facebook, man. I had
Yeah,
probably
Facebook.
2,000
Shit.
2,000
I got
hits
like
over the weekend.
Yeah, you get so many flakes on Facebook though, for sure. It's like the old Craigslist, you know?
Yeah.
Just people just don't respond, you know? So, but that's okay. It's all part of it. I think on that one deal I have like 240 people that hit me up, you know, on the one Alan and I are working on, you know, but they're
Have you got that wrapped up yet? You got anyone interested?
I don't think so, really, do we?
Mm-mm,
I mean, it's a
not
good
yet.
deal.
Did you guys boost the ad by chance?
Boosted it. I'm gonna do it again today, probably tomorrow, so I can get it through the weekend again.
People
And
responding to it at all?
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, let's take a quick look at that just so that we
Yeah.
could see.
So how do you do it when you go to another state, an area,
What do you mean?
with Facebook? How does that work?
Oh, you can just change your
Your market?
yeah, you can just change the market.
How would you do that? Is it in that setting there?
What's going on here? Yeah, look at this. So we have 6,800 people have viewed this listing.
Well,
Doesn't mean they responded, but
and no one's like dropping you messages and stuff like that?
yeah, no, I got a
Okay.
lot of messages for
Gotcha.
sure. Lots of messages.
So are they are they looking to come look at it, or are they just seeing if it's still
Basically, that you
available?
get a lot of people that just say, "Hey, is it available?" You know.
Mhm.
I
So
mean,
what I
these are
was
just
doing was, as I was getting those, I was sending out a response that, first you can hit that thing that, yes, it's available. And then I would send them a message when I'm showing it. So I'd say, yeah, it's available. And then I'd send them a text that said, yes, I'm showing it Tuesday at from 1 to 2. Can you come? And try and get them to commit to it.
right.
And then I would,
Well,
and then I'd ask them if they said yes, then I'd say, excellent. Can you send me your cell phone so I can confirm? And a lot of times they will.
mm. Well,
So,
part of that though is that we don't want just people to go out there unless they're kind of pre-qualified, you know, like have money down and all that stuff, you know,
right.
because it's a rent to own.
Gotcha. So you got to do the background info first before you start.
Well,
adding
not so much that. We just want to make sure they have the money to do it, you know?
So how
So,
do you handle that? You just send them a message. This is not a rent. This is a rent to own.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
So, my reply to somebody that replies back to it's available is, hey, thanks for replying. Just want to let you know this is a rent to own, not a regular rental. Is that something that you're interested in? You know, question mark. And then I would say, if so, it does require, some money down. Do you have anything to work with? You know, and then they either won't reply or they will reply, and then a lot of people will reply, oh, I got $1,000 or, 800 or, whatever. It's like, then I just kind of probably should reply back to those people. Is that the best you think you could come up with? Because that's what
Yeah.
happened. And that other deal that I got was the other deal that I got was, she said she only had half of what I wanted, but then said, yeah, I can do the whole thing. So, so that's cool. That's a good something. That's what's great about this stuff here. Like it brings out the ideas. Connor just put this on Rent Links too, and then we were supposed to put it on Craigslist yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to do it, so I'm going to do that too for the
Is
weekend.
there a cost for rent links?
Yeah, it's like $13 a month.
Mhm.
So, but it's basically the same thing as that other thing that I can't remember what it's called. What was it? Tenant Turner or whatever. But in Tenant Turner is $50 a month. And they do some more things, but it's just the problem with Tenant Tuner though is that I don't know. I don't want to talk shit about it, but I didn't like it. So there's things about it I didn't like. So we just decided to stick with what we got because it's been working, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Right. Let me get back to
I
here.
was trying to do the, I put, my description together and it was freaking poetry. And then I had it, putting my thing together on the MLS form today. And, I've only allowed 500 words and that was like freaking a quarter of what I, put together. So I've been trying to realign that thing. That's been a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Just when you think you got it done, then you got to do it again. That's,
Yeah, and you got to be like on it to make sure that it's all, I don't know, sometimes you got to update it and all that stuff. So, those kind of things are a pain in the ass too. It'd be nice if we could come up with because I don't think I have enough deals right now where I could actually have anybody be full time as a buyer, but maybe come up with something we could team up together with a few people, to have somebody, do a multiple person VA, to deal with buyers maybe, just because it sure would be nice if you could just call sellers, and have somebody who had their shit together to deal with the buyers and was really good at, I know it takes time to find that person, or even if we did it on a commission based situation,
yeah.
to where that we paid them a certain percentage, and then that way it wasn't like an hourly thing, that might be a good idea too. So in the idea of that, so let's see. I'm gonna make a call here, hopefully. I don't know if I talked to this person yet. All right. Sorry for the lag here.
That looks nice.
Yeah.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 337.
I think I'm coming up on like a year now of doing Thursday calls. I remember how freaking scared I was when I first started. Oh my gosh. I was like Alan when he had to make that call that first day. It used to like wear me out. I swear by the end of the call, I'm like, fuck, I need to take a nap.
Yo, for real.
Now it's like, it's cool. I can call people. I can do this now. So I love it. I love it, Ed, though. I love you on here. It's so great. So great. Well,
Good deal.
let's see. We'll try
Love
this.
being here.
Yeah. Okay, if this person answers, let's figure out what personality. I don't know if they're gonna answer.
I hear someone's taking a nap.
Oh, that's the dog. Can you guys hear the dog snoring?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, he's popping
He's comfy.
eye They heard me.
Yo, hey Ed, going back to your catching up topic. So if you know you're gonna be away, what's the game plan that you implement?
You've got to double up your efforts, man. You gotta, pick up the slack. Got to get it done before you head out. So it's called double time.
Double time. I like it, bro.
Gotta get it done before you go.
I like
So,
it.
if it's 5 days a week, if 5 calls a day, you're only going to get 4. You gotta add that extra one on each day, or extra 2. But my suggestion is get it done early and get ahead of the game early in the week. Come in with gusto and try and get ahead of the game, especially when you're going out of town, because you're not going to be able to get it done.
Yep. Good
Yeah.
advice. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, and earlier in the day, the better, I think, too.
Yep.
Seems to be for me at least. It's just if I don't get it done in the morning, it's super easy to not do it. So, all right. Well, we've been going about an hour. I'm gonna go and focus on my calls for the next 2 hours and see how many I can get in and try to get them all into the accountability thing. Well, I don't want to say I'm going to try, because there's a try is just an excuse.
Yep. Don't do it.
So, all right. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, and let's we'll talk soon. Go get it. Let's kill it.
Have a
Thank
great
you
one,
all.
everybody.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a
Take
good
it
one.
easy.